Hi, this is Maria from Mari's Way of Life. Welcome back to my channel. I am a mommy, I'm a planner babe, and I am a first grade teacher. Today I want to show you what the hybrid allowance for my girl looks like. I have two girls and one of them is 9 and one of them is 2. I will go over what I give her for allowance for the 9-year-old. The other one is way too young. If you're interested in what this looks like in my household, go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, so this is Camila's little pouch, and she typically has a pen here. This is from the Erin Condren Kids Planner that she actually released this year, and I gave her 3 envelopes. These are actually plastic, which I think are sturdier for her, and this came in a set of 12 from Amazon, and you can just search cash envelopes and they will come up. And she labeled them spend, or we labeled them give and save. So what she does every week is I give her a set amount of envelopes. This she didn't start until now because I am on a budget and I'm trying to teach her as well. So I figured this would be a good way of doing it. So let me explain first what research I had done before. And I don't have the terminology correct or the language of the discipline in the budgeting world, but let me tell you what I came up with. And I read an article, I want to say like, I don't know, 2 years ago. She didn't start getting allowance until the last school year, I want to say. So what I did is I read an article and it had, I believe there were 3 choices if I'm not mistaken. And in those choices, it gave the parent a brief overview of giving your child allowance through chores or through just a pure allowance, or doing a hybrid allowance, which means you were doing both 1 and 2 at the same time. So let me explain to you what 1 and 2 are so that we can get into the hybrid, which is what I do. The chore-based allowance is really simple. They do a chore and they get paid for it. Now they could be, this is a whole other debate whether you believe in one thing or the other, but you have to do what works for your family. It's like health, it's like cars. You know, we all have a choice on things, and it has to, you have to do what is right for your family. You're not gonna get a Ferrari if you have a family of 6, if I'm making sense. Pure allowance, on the other hand, means each week, no matter what, the child gets an allowance, sorry. So you either are paying him for chores completely, like they picked up their socks, you're giving them $1. They, I don't know, wash the dishes, you give them an allowance. They picked up their toys, you give them an allowance. The other one is, here you go, you have your allowance, and it's a set allowance no matter what. Whether they did their homework, they, I don't know, wash the dishes, whatever you have set at home for expectations for them, then that's what it is. So I chose to do the hybrid allowance, in which you use a little bit of both. Now, how you track this, it's up to you. I actually, this year, Camila did get an Erin Condren planner, like I said, and it actually has, I asked her if I can borrow it, and she said no. So, sorry that I can't show you that. So I respect that decision, but she did let me borrow her envelopes. And so what I do is, my husband gets paid every Wednesday. So on Wednesday, it's kind of like her payday. And she gets an allowance of $9 because she's 9 years old. That's how I see it. And I think in that article I read it as well, it's like $1 per year of age. So that's just how I kept it. So she gets $9 allowance, and then she can earn up to 10 additional dollars if she does chores around the house. Now with this one, you have to be, because you're incorporating both, I was very specific with her. So this is kind of how I laid it down for her. We sat down and we talked about what she thought that I had to pay her for. And then, you know, I asked her simple questions like, do you think I should be paying you to brush your teeth? And she like laughed. I remember her, she was laughing and she said, no, that's like my responsibility. And I said, what about for doing homework? And she again responded with no, being really smart and knowing that I kind of was going to head that path. She's a really smart girl, so I knew she was like, I should not answer yes because she's probably going to tell me, are you kidding me? And for sure, I would probably have said that. So we did 2 lists of what things she potentially could get paid for and what things were her responsibility as a family member of this household. So we kind of define that. So if you're doing this system, first you have to figure out what amount you're going to give them, whether that be the $1 per year of age, and how much you're going to do for her extra earnings, so for chores. The other thing is we have to be consistent. Kind of like if you're teachers and you're watching this, kind of like in the classroom, you just need consistency, whether or not it's raining or sunshine. This child needs to get her allowance and her chores paid. So consistency is key, because then if you skip it, well, of course things happen, and I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, don't pay for gas and pay your child allowance. I'm just saying consistency is key, because they will trust that they are going to get their allowance for that amount of time or whatever you choose to do. So that way you build trust and they're happy. Come on, they need their own budget, and it's helping Camila work with money and try to figure out things on her own. Now I kind of am helping her with this, but we'll talk a little bit about it in a minute. So the third thing, so number 1, how much you're going to give them. 2, consistency. Then I kind of talked to her, I mean, to call it something, maybe to establish some rules on what things you are going to purchase for her as a member of a family and as your child, and what things she's going to use her budget for, if that makes sense. So that's something that's private to every family. I'm just going to give you an example. Obviously, if she needs socks, I'm going to get her socks. Or not obviously, but in my household, that's what's going to happen. New shoes, of course I'm going to get her the new shoes. She saves money for birthdays as well, so that's something she can get. We'll go to a birthday party and we'll get a family birthday gift. But if she wants something additional, then she has to buy it. If she wants a toy, she has to buy it. I am not buying her any toys. She is very blessed. So if she wants that, she needs to get it on her own. If she wants candy, she needs to get that on her own. Of course, that is within boundaries as well. If she wants to spend $20 on Jolly Ranchers, I probably have to intervene a little bit there. But you're the parent, you know how you set those boundaries with your child. Then the other thing I only give them cash. So I just want to specify, I only give her cash all this time. Then finally, but not least, and I think maybe the most important one, is making sure the allowance is always positive. So this is really hard for me as a parent and as a teacher. Sometimes, she maybe didn't do her homework and I got a class dojo, which is a message from the teacher saying, okay, she didn't turn in homework, or Camila was talking. I don't get many of those. I think I got like 2 last year. But even if that's the case, that doesn't mean she's not getting her $9 allowance. It needs to be a positive thing. It shouldn't be, well, this week you're not getting it because you didn't complete homework. This is where you need to have an open communication with your child, and you do you. But for me, it's a positive thing. It should never be negative. So this is how I do it. Now, she's actually doing envelopes for 3 weeks now. On one of them, she's saving. We asked her she must at least save 10% of what she earns that week. And then another one is for giving. And she is actually saving for Christmas gifts more than anything in here. And then the other one is for spending. So now that she actually categorizes her money, and I asked her that she needed to do this, she's actually really thinking critically, like, do I really want to spend everything, or should I just save? Because she's a giver just like her mama, and she likes to give. So she's actually saving up, and then cousin's birthday is coming up, so she's loving this. So is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? No, this is the second week. I'm sorry. Second week she's doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and do a stuffing cash envelopes video right after this one, but I just wanted to show you what it meant, especially because I'll insert her name right here. I had a comment of the hybrid allowance and what it meant, so I wanted to make sure I answered to your questions and I let you know what I am doing, because I know if you're a mommy out there, we take on too many jobs, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's right, I have to share what that means. So we have so many things to do that sometimes, you know, I skip over stuff, but this is what it means. And she was looking at my first budget video talking about sinking funds. So if you haven't watched that, go watch it, because it'll make more sense when I start stuffing my cash envelopes on the upcoming video. So I'll upload this one, I'll put Camila's stuff back, and that's what she does, and that's what I do as well. And I have to tell you, it has made a huge difference doing an allowance for her, and she really does deserve her $9 allowance. She's a really good kiddo, and we do our best to keep it that way, and I know as parents we want the best for them. I love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you haven't, please consider subscribing. If you've been a subscriber for a while, thank you so much for your fidelity. I appreciate each and every single one of you. I love you guys. Take care, but more than anything, God bless. Goodbye.